All right, great job today. Really quick explanation so we can just get through it and you'll understand this. This down here is called the hi-hat control because it uses those two cymbals that come together, the hi-hat, on a steel center shaft. When we play it open with our foot not on it, we get open crash of our cymbals, and we play it close, we get the close sounding. Interesting. We can play it kind of sloppy where it's just barely open. And then going forth, we have a crash. And then over here, we have a ride. Now, all these are all the same on a drum set, but you program them on the electric to have different sounds. Ride's generally used for jazz, stuff like that, or to make a big old nice longevity of a swell, or just keep some constant tippy taps. Always really good. Crashes are to smack and make a lot of noise. I don't have them up here, but I would have like a slash, and then have like another one right here that would do like a crash, or there's a bunch of different pasties type of cymbals. These are called toms, as you said. Tom, mid tom, low tom. High tom, mid tom, low tom, or upper, middle, lower, or floor tom is what we call this. And you can have two floor toms. You can in fact have as many as you want. This is called the snare. The snare was the first thing that we had for our Western era of music. The first thing ever made for drums before they were actually drums were the cymbals. They were made for battle. And then eventually in America we had the snare that was drawn for the wars. 1812, I think, Revolutionary maybe. Long story short, this is the one that most of our rudiments come from, like today's exercise, the single stroke. Meaning coming down on it, we keep our hands pretty much in the same place when we play it. The idea is we're gonna have the tip of our stick play just that. Not the shoulder, but the tip. It's gonna go directly down, single, 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 single. We're gonna keep these going on so you get used to playing with these sticks. We're not gonna hold the sticks past the blue dot or on a pair of traditional Vic First or any stick really, the flag or the marking, because all of them do a marking right where that is, generally their logo or the flag. When we come down, our thumb is right there, but traditionally we like to have a closed grip with the nub coming through just ever so slightly. That puts us in a good position for a rebound, which means when you lift the stick and go down, it doesn't fall out here, and then our fingers can cave underneath it to form some stability. That's how we get multiple bounces. That's what we're gonna work on. Lifting and dropping the stick, all the while being able to make sure we get that bounce, bounce, bounce. We're gonna try that on both hands, just lifting our hands. And what you'll notice is in the beginning, they're gonna bounce at weird different bounces. What we wanna do is kind of get the bounces to bounce at the same bounce. And then eventually we're gonna be able to tame that bounce to be able to make it shrill and drag it into a way where we're calling it rolling. Or a fanfare march. So one of the things we do is we work on single, 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 and then we speed those up and see where we fall apart. That's eventually going to be where we're going to need to work on these things. So about right here, I want to slow it back down and like work it right back down to the number line. You can then start to speed that up again, do it until it falls apart, see if your single strokes come together. Feeling everything about the stick, not dropping them, trying to keep this closed. Remembering the pillars of drums are going to be the arms, they're going to be the wrists, and they're going to be the fingers. Each one of these we do kind of differently, the fingers being kind of cool. Just a fulcrum, our hands don't even really need to go up and down. We just go back and forth. And then the wrists rely on the rebound, where we throw down the stick once, and then it bounces back and we push back at it. So we only really need to do is put down the energy from one movement. And we feelings. And then we work on that along with our fingers, our wrists, and then holding down basic beats, utilizing these, and then using those single strokes or double strokes to be able to make fills. When we keep the beat, we want to be able to get through and keep on that one. In the beginning, even if you mess up a beat, just being able to find the pocket starts with just being able to count. So what we are going to do is go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Just like our rhythm. At a certain point, the beat gets a little bit too fast to follow. But that is how we practice slow to fast. The other way is just to dissect it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass. 2, 3, 4. Bass. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 1 and the 3. Whole note. Whole note. And then constant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You can do all sorts of fun stuff with a hi-hat, but it takes being comfortable with the beat. Getting down to it, most of what percussion is just feeling the one and doing beats in between those rhythms. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. So when we feel out these beats, what we're talking about is anything is possible. Off of the drum set, what we would do is just use those rudiments that we use with our hands. So 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, clack, bass, snare, fill, back on the 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Ba-dum, 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 boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Anything you do in between there becomes your fill. So when we think about it while we're off the set, we can do taka 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 tak tak tak. 1, 2, 3. You can even subdivide that and cut the beat in half if you want. 1, boom, 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 baga, 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 boom. Some things feel off. I'm not the best drummer, but I can tell you, if you practice these rudiments, at least you'll get your hands doing separate things. The rudiments we worked on today were single strokes, and then how to do the Mohler technique. You drop down one time to get a single stroke, let your hand go loose, and don't lift it back up for the second stroke, and push it down with the top of your fingers. I'll show it from the side as well. Don't worry about this one if you don't get it right off the bat. It's one of the weirdest things to talk about on your first lesson, I know, but I was blown away when somebody showed this to me, and it really changed the way that I feel about music. We'll talk about the rudiments of handshakers, counting out fundamental notes, and then how to sight read this poster, Oh Rudiments. It was very nice meeting you and seeing you. We will see you at your next session, which I believe is on the 6th. Aloha!